Okay, so today we will do a little recap to start discussing the second session of this meeting, the second day of the second session, second day. Okay, so we were talking about this. We wanted brave people to do this work with uncertain outcome. Okay, so thank you for staying here. Nobody run away. So actually, here we have a picture that we took yesterday. It is Gary Chalk. So in memory of Gary Chalk, no, that is bad luck to say that. Shouldn't say that. Okay, so I want to do a very brief summary of what we did yesterday, and I want to give the honor to the participant who did the effort to prepare the poster. So here I want to start with a little keywords. Okay, this is what I collected. If you disagree with me, we will have a round table later in the afternoon, so you can say you are completely wrong. Okay, but this is what I could perceive from the poster. So for example, Mohamed was talking about database, was mentioning database for lifelines. Okay, very important. Darcy Mascolo was doing a tsunami modeling in the Washington region. Okay, we were listening something that got in my mind was 10 deposit in 10,000 years paleo tsunamis. Okay, 3,000 years. Thank you very much for the correction. We will correct that later. Shubo was talking about tsunami loss prediction. Okay, merging observation with catastrophe risk modeling. Steve was talking about the Global Tsunami Model Initiative, okay, community building. Fabian was talking about what we can learn from dynamic rupture models, showing the example of the Noto tsunami. We were talking about the no evidence of mega splay fall. Okay, this is important, so let me yeah, confirm me that I say, but no evidence about mega splay fall. Okay, very important. And also include some splay faults, right? That is very important. So that was good? Yeah, very good. I think that is very important, okay? At least for me. It's a very, 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 very important thing. Okay, can don't mitigate tsunami risk? Actually, I have an idea. I want to talk about this thing in the roundtable because of an example. That's something that happened in Chile. I will let you know later. Tsunami mitigation program in Washington, transforming into information for communities, very important. Okay, Ruben also was showing what they were talking about in perspective of tsunami fragility. And Amy was talking about linking tsunamis with earthquake early warning. So very important topics, okay? I hope we can talk about this poster later in the session. Okay, so a brief summary of what we were doing in the 4 sessions of yesterday. Session 1, we were having a lot of keywords from the different presentation. Lydia talking about paleo tsunami, still some challenges in terms of uncertainty of aging. Something very important that came up in my mind after listening was the description of the earthquake sequence, okay, and also what happened with the rupture between cycles. Okay, that is some things that probably we need to discuss. Harold was talking about the improvement of the slab models and key aspects for the future. Okay, again, talking about the mega splay faults, no evidence, but still splay faults that we need to study. Was that correct, Harold? Yeah. Good. Okay, very good. Eric, kinematic coupling, don't forget. And also, let's remove inversion smooth regularization to see what inversion actually is. Actually, that also got stuck in my mind. And finally, log the trench. Okay, session 1 roundtables. We were talking about something paleo tsunami may solve is the evolution of several cycles, maybe or maybe not. Okay. Lydia, where is Lydia? Yeah, it was okay or not? Yeah. Okay. They are not inversion constrained, so that basically is a conclusion that still we need, especially offshore data. But even if we have all the data, there are still things that maybe we will not be able to solve. That is correct, Eric? Yeah, very good. From PTHA, from Diego, heterogeneous sleep, for sure. Okay, no discussion about that. Kinematics in the far field might be important. Okay, here is just what I said, how we get cheap procedures to incorporate tight uncertainty and non-stationary processes. And also I was talking about the role of the bathymetry uncertainty. So it's a thing, okay? Robert, be careful with a with simple model describing real world complex problems, especially for the case of morphodynamics. Robert is here. No, he had to leave today. Okay, you can miss extremes. Okay, we were talking about the extreme, especially for this study. Roundtable, one comment which was very important, numerical models and governing equation are another important source of uncertainty. Okay, real world complexity increases uncertainty. A non-stationary aspect of vulnerability and hazard needs social science and economy. Okay, someone edit that commentary, which is very important. Relative sea level rise need to be considered. Okay, challenge in how we communicate probability. That is another big challenge that we need to address. Okay, session 3, fragility analysis. Here we had a very nice discussion. So from the presentation, Ruben, sometimes tsunami fragility functions have systematic errors. You were showing the problem of Noto. Okay, it seems we need data for validation and calibration. This is a very important point that actually we were discussing yesterday. Okay, Katsu was saying that we have the formulation for tsunami fragility functions. We can do evacuations. We can do fatality. We can address fatality risk, which was very important. And this morning we were talking with Katsu about that. But we have very few data actually for the fatality risk. We only have data for Japan. So we need to try to think about this problem, how we can calibrate this type of model. Okay. Dan was saying that we need to account for damage and losses in a separate way. Downscaling is the challenge. Can we arrive to a parcel scale? Okay. And furthermore, after the talk with John, should we actually do that? Try to reach the parcel scale that come up with a lot of other questions, especially with how we are informing that problem to the society. So do we have a certain data for parcel scale? For example, we were talking about the problem of the inventory and the tax assessor data, and showing this big dispersion when we are dealing with the parcel scale, right, Dan? Very good. Okay, so from the round table, no reliable data for a parcel scale map. Maybe not a good idea for several other reasons, okay? How we deal with informing this to communities, realtor, etc. What will be the reaction? Okay, that is what I got from my impression. Emergency offices would be very happy to receive more data. With open arms, I put here. Please bring it. Okay, so really everything is welcome. Okay, in terms of data. Okay, session 4, implementation. So David was saying we need to start to think of tsunami risks of lifelines. For example, the example of the water utility case. Okay, repeat what we did for earthquakes and do it for tsunamis. Okay, and in the last slide of David, he was showing how we can use this website that they have, and now we can add this another dimension, which is tsunami. Okay, we were having the discussion with Ron about remote sensing observation to augment tsunami risk info. This is something very important in terms of what they were including in the project, pilot areas for demonstration, but also advisory board to test effectiveness of the tools they are developing. Of course, this is super important. Gary was showing something very interesting, a long time needed for a building code. Okay, when he was showing the timeline, he was going to 1984 in terms of development. Okay. He was saying that the technique is there in terms to try to design for tsunami load, but also there are a lot of conflicted needs from communities. Sometimes we cannot just go and build a tall building because we have some urban planning regulations. Okay, so maybe we need to start to think on this proposing optional community plans that he was mentioning yesterday. He was mentioning 3 options that that were reasonable. A roundtable, should demographic information and economy be included in this stage of studies? Okay, that was a very important comment. before information arrives to planners and emergency managers? What about all social aspects of risk? So this was a very interesting question. When we were designing this meeting with Diego, we were saying, okay, let's try to focus on technical aspects, okay? But always the social part always come up, okay? So it's important. Okay, we need a global, and this is again repeated from the third session again, we need a global initiative to collect observations of fragility, okay? Because we need to calibrate, okay? There is a strong word, calibration of things we are doing, okay? Okay, so that was a summary. If I forget something here, anyone can raise a hand and say, hey, I forgot something very, very critical. Do you think it was fine? Okay, very well. Later you will sign a document. That was true. Okay, so for second day, now what we will do in this session is now we have seen everything about research, even research in terms of implementation. But now we want to hear about successful examples of people applying all what we know about tsunami risk into real world problems, okay? So the idea of this second day is to see what people have done, okay? The practice of all what we learned yesterday, okay? So in the session, probably we are already late, right? Of course. So we will start with session 1 with the implementation of hazard assessment. So the first presentation that we will have is from John. Then we will have Corina. And John, of course, will present with Jay, right? We were talking about that, so super beautiful. So we will start with that. So yeah, John and Jay, you can come here and start the presentation. Who is the moderator of this first session? Of course, it's me because I'm asking, right?